There's basically what they're going to do for us. You got it.
Mine cost me.
They need to do it.
Yeah, and they broke it out. It's $1,500 for core samples.
Very lucky.
Take them in, test them, and then make a recommendation.
Let's talk about this.
So whether or not we need to take out those existing structures. And then $9,500 for the design.
He's from
And then $755 for the bid documents.
Good morning.
Yeah.
How are you?
He says we're a lot better people.
Oh, you can't do that.
Well, it's like
It's personal and confidential.
when we start, if we're out in the
Because
country,
you're over there.
like on the old church road, you're gonna put in a seat barrel, a double barrel box cover, the span is 6 feet. You know, we don't need this.
Well-
But when you start talking about a 50-foot bridge, this is the only way.
Oh, I totally agree.
Let's do it smooth.
He's trying to do better.
Do what? What'd you say?
I think I'm a no. What do you think?
Let me explain it.
I'm not kidding her. Ask her.
We'll take action on it.
Gail,
Yours, is that yours? Yeah.
Gail's gonna walk in with that one.
I've dug around.
You gonna speak? Are you sure? I'm gonna call on you.
I thought it already been won. Maybe it is.
I have prayer today, so I'm gonna have you do it.
I got me in trying to talk.
How are you doing? I'm good.
He's like he wants to talk to everybody. I said, if you want to run, that's what you run. I mean, you're not going to be over here 6 weeks.
I talked to somebody the other day that kin to him, and he said, I don't
What's
The blonde girl sitting behind you. What's your name? Behind you. No, you. No, you. What's your name? No, her. I've been thinking third.
See, I told you.
If I could get away
I had drug task force. Guy Howell here.
Yeah. You hear how proud she said. You hear how proud she said that song? She's proud. Yeah, man. I mean, it's important to make you guys down.
They were all like, hey, I don't have a problem. I was afraid of making calls.
Who's this son? Oh, I'll see you.
Whatever. Yeah, just whatever. Smells good.
I just hear you. They're mad at me. What I did. I wish I did.
Senior counsel.
Last guy that ran against me.
Oh, is it?
I know Michael. Michael will.
Hey.
I just saw where we don't have to take action.
I don't think so.
3 entities.
I had a pencil.
All right.
3 entities.
Do it all.
Tell her I said I need no more drinks or work.
I'd like to call to order the Barron County Fiscal Report, this being December the 12th, 2017. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
John Bedingfield.
Here.
Trent Riddle.
Here.
Carl Dickerson.
Here.
Jack London.
Here.
Gary Gillen.
Here.
Charles Allen.
Here.
Billy Houchin.
Here.
Michael Taylor.
Here, thank you very much. I'll entertain a motion to adopt the orders of today.
So moved.
Second.
Master Gillen, second Master Allen. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Today's invocation will be given by Master Carl Dickerson.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you this morning, Lord, for allowing us to gather together and all be here safely. And Lord, we thank you for this season when your Son came to earth as a human baby for our salvation. Lord, we ask today that you give us the knowledge to make decisions in the correct manner that, Lord, that help all our citizens. Lord, go with us now, be with us, and in Jesus' precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Join me in the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice
Yes, sir.
I welcome everyone today, especially our elected officials, Judge Bellamy, Gibson, Sheriff Keene, Joanne London, thank you for being here. Mayor Hatcher, thank you for being here as well. I have two high school students with us. Girls, if y'all would stand up, I'd like to recognize you two. I have my daughter, Miss Ellie Hale, here, and we have Kara Medford, and they are seniors at Glasgow High School, and I'm happy to have you all today. So thank you.
Would y'all like to say anything?
You can if you want to. If you'd like to tell a story, Mr. Bennyfield, that'd be. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of November 21st, 2017.
So moved. Second.
Master Houchin, second by Master Gillen. Any questions, discussions, deletions, changes? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Announcements. Our county Christmas luncheon will be tomorrow. That is from 11 to 1. So our office will be closed. The whole building. So also closings for Christmas will be Monday the 25th of December, Tuesday the 26th of December. New Year's Day, which is Monday, January 1st, will be closed. Will be closed. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, which is Monday, January 15th, is the day before our next fiscal court meeting. Does anyone have any announcements in their respective districts they would like to bring forward? Okay. We will move into reports. I will start with my report. We are doing a proclamation for a missing in action soldier that was a Barry County native, and that funeral will be tomorrow. That was Private First Class Albert Strange. That will be conducted at the Bob Hunt Funeral Home. So I have the proclamation here if anyone would like to read it. I'm not going to read it this morning, but just kind of letting you know that that's what we will be doing. Also, we have had, just for the sake of transparency, we have had a reportable accident for an employee at the road department. This is something by law that we have to report. We have had OSHA to come in. They have looked at what we've been doing, and you know, this is something that start of 2015 we started doing some safety improvements. Have we done the best? No. Can we do better? We can always do better. This has gave Jeremy and I a chance to look to see exactly, study our protocols of safety, and we put a lot of things in place. I'd be more than welcome to your ideas, magistrates, if you have any. I appreciate if you direct your questions to myself or Jeremy Runyon. So that's about all I have to say about it. Also, we took action about 2 months ago to approve the co-op with the students. I'd like to take that a step further. In conversations and my involvement in workforce development, I would love to apprentice these students. The goal here is to cut down on college debt for the young people. And we have positions here that we can apprentice. I have spoke to the Department of Labor about this. As I said, the end goal is to for our young folks not to be graduating college with so much debt. So the apprenticeships will go towards their college career. So you need action on that. Okay, we won't need any action just as yet, but we're going to get the ball rolling on that. We have already took action on the co-op part of it. It's just a matter of some paperwork now. And we have interviewed some students for Ms. London's office and Judge Executive's office. So just kind of keeping you all aware. Also seen Gary Minor. Thank you for being here, sir. He's elected official in Cave City. Okay, let's move on. Jailer Bellamy. Oh, wait a minute. You can come on up here, but I got one more thing. Those of you that, I don't know if you've heard or not, but we've had 2 industries in our county to expand. One's Federal Mogul. Federal Mogul is expanding 15,000 square feet. This is an $8.6 million capital investment in our community. This will create 25 more jobs. Also, Lennox Labeling, which is a small company that has been here for a while. They are going to expand in our industrial park. That's a $1.1 million investment in our community. They're going to build a 12,000 square foot facility. That's going to create 30 jobs and that average wage of $14 an hour. So that is 5 projects in 1 year. So I'm very happy with that. Okay, Jailer Bellamy, thank you for waiting.
Good morning. Thank you, Judge. Start out with our numbers this morning. Barron County, we have 90 inmates. Cumberland 1, Metcalf 14, Drug Court 4, Monroe 16, Nelson 1, Ohio 1, and 131 state inmates. Printed off our bookings for the year, kind of show you how busy we have become in the past year. We was averaging about 3,500 bookings a year. That's people coming and going for a year. To date, right now, we have booked right at 5,000 people this year. So it kind of shows you where the numbers are going with the state. I was actually talking to the news the other night, and they was doing a study. They anticipate 5 years that it's going to cost the state over $600 million to incarcerate prisoners in the state of Kentucky. So it's on a steady increase. I don't think nobody has the answer right now. I've asked what the solution is. Nobody really has one. So we're offering as many programs as we can to get them to work, break the cycle. That's about all I got this morning.
You know, in our resource responders, I believe that's a pretty effective group. I know I've spoke about this, but there's a group that we go in and we'll talk to the inmates right before they're released and offer them either a chance to finish their college degree or a chance to go to work or just whatever it might be able to make them a productive citizen in the community. It's pretty successful. Invite any of you to come up and listen. And it's the overlooked population that we're trying to reach here in the community. So
we're actually the only jail in the state that's offering a program of that nature. We have had some questions about it. I think there'll be a few jails follow suit and try what we're doing. We're very fortunate because our local industry, which we toured with them, and they offered a helping hand. So it seems to be on a good path.
Agree. Any questions for Jailer Bellamy? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
Sheriff King.
Judge, members of the court, good morning. Our agenda starts off, I believe, with the approval of 18 fees. You want to address that first to go in line?
I'll entertain a motion to...
So move.
Okay, we have Master Allen.
Second.
Master Houchins. Any questions, discussion? You should have a copy of this in your packet. This is the fee budget, 2018 fee budget. Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed.
Second item on the agenda there is a request for purchase order for sheriff's vehicle repairs. And make note that that vehicle was involved in an accident, which was the fault of the other party. So the insurance is paid out on that, minus some deductibles and things of that nature.
I'll make that motion.
Master Bennyfield,
I'll second it.
Master London, any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed.
Thank you,
Anything
Judge.
else?
That's all.
Thank you, sir. Okay, County Clerk? Your fee budget, yes.
Okay, I'm here today. By law, we have to, you all have to approve my budget for 2018 by January 15th. And so we had to get it prepared early this year because of the meeting. Wasn't until the 15th, I think. So there's a little bit a difference. It went down just a little bit. This is just a proposed, by state law, the sheriff and the county clerk both has to do this. So I'm here today to present the budget and have you approve it.
Entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Master Gillen, second Master Allen. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed.
Also, I would like to just announce, I've just sent information to the press and the newspapers. Our office will be closed the 29th, 30th, 31st, and 1st due to the state putting new computers or updating the computer system statewide in all the county clerk's offices. So I urge everybody, if you're a December birth month or you have any transactions to do, the 28th is going to be the last day we can process any work in the county clerk's office for the year 2017. The 31st is the deadline to change your political party and still be eligible to vote in the May 2018 primary. To do so, you can come by the clerk's office for the 28th, or you can go online to the State Board of Elections website or the Secretary of State's website and do that process online, and it still be eligible before the 31st, and still be eligible for the change. Although our office isn't going to be open, but you can still do that online, and it'll still be effective for the May primary in 2018. So,
Okay. Any
Thank you.
questions for Ms. London? Okay. Thank
Thank
you very
you.
much. Okay, fiscal court committees, administrative committee, Master Benningfield.
We had a meeting last week concerning the needle exchange program. I had representatives from the Sheriff's Department, Drug Task Force, jail, city police, and the main purpose of the meeting was to get their opinions on if we were to implement this program, would there be any criminal-related, drug-related issues that would cause them any concern. And we had a lot of good dialogue. We had got all their questions answered. I think that they were comfortable with us going with the program. They weren't against it. It's the recommendation of the committee that we vote on accepting this program. But there's three things that I want to clarify. The needle exchange program does not condone drug use. If anything, it's there to help relieve or help the problem of drug abuse. It's a one-to-one exchange. It would be one dirty needle for one clean needle. Number two, of course, you're going to build relationships with those counselors up there, and the goal is to eventually see if they would be willing to get blood work done to see if they have any virus that they could pass on to other users. Number three is to eventually seek help. And that's the main goal, is for them to quit abusing drugs. It's not to support it, it's to help them get off of it. And I think there's been a misconception out there that we're just out giving needles to these people and not trying to help them, and that's just not the case. And so I want to make sure that everybody on this court understands that. We, again, have representatives from the health department here if anybody has a question about that. But I would like to make a motion that we vote the needle exchange program for the health department.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
Second, Master Houchins. Any discussion or questions?
Judge, just want to make a comment on that. I intend to vote for the needle exchange program, but I have had some calls, and I think Magistrate Benningfield's addressed those issues. I think they were maybe thinking we were condoning drug use, and that's not the truth. It's a good program, and I just wanted to mention that I had some calls that were against me voting for this, but I intend to vote for it anyway. So it's the best thing to do.
Who's going to pay for it?
State.
These are mostly federal funds.
Yes, the
Yes.
health
If
department.
you want to come up here, please. Thank you.
I'm Stephanie Dickerson, and I work in the education department at the health department. This is actually funded through the health department. It's not through taxpayer money. I know that's one thing that a lot of people have some questions about. I actually have written a grant for $1,000 from Kentucky ASAP that will give us $1,000 to get this started at the beginning. Basically, the health department will be paying for everything. It's not like we're going to come up and ask for more money or anything like that. We will pay for salary for our staff and for all the supplies and everything that's involved.
Stephanie, do you have any evidence that this has helped in other places?
Well,
Of course, the goal is to help to bring them to counseling.
right. I mean, there are 21 other counties here in Kentucky that have a needle exchange program. It has proved very successful in other counties just from the data. I know in Warren County, this program was started last year, and in Warren County, they have given out 7,965. They have taken in 7,965 dirty needles and given out 8,753 needles that are clean. And one thing we want to make sure is people know when they come in, they're getting the education. It's not like they just run in the door and we hand it to them and they're right out. They're getting the education. They are also getting the chance to be tested for HIV, hepatitis in our office. We're trying to build that relationship with them. We have had numerous people in Bowling Green that are going to the Warren County Needle Exchange that have stopped coming in or because they have told us that they have received the counseling. We've referred them to other places for treatment and that they are not using drugs anymore. It's been nothing but a positive experience in other counties.
Do we have a big problem with the use of needles, or do we have a major AIDS problem or hepatitis problem as a result of needles, dirty needles?
I'm going to let our epidemiologist talk a little bit about that.
So 2/3 of the cases of HIV and hepatitis C are linked to needle use. So injection drug users, you would say that 2/3 of those, the main source of infection is injection drug use. So the hope is for providing the people clean needles, that transmission mode is minimized. I mean, we know that for hepatitis B and hepatitis C, sex could also be a mean of transmission, but the main means of transmission for hepatitis C is injection drug use.
Do you have a number to go with that in Barron County?
So for Barron County,
do we have AIDS in Barron County?
Yes, sir. Let me give you the numbers. For Barron County, the number of people who are currently living with HIV is 24 people as of December 30th, 2016. With hepatitis B, let me give you the numbers. With hepatitis B, the numbers for like we just looked at a snapshot of numbers between Jan 2014 and April of 2016. Barron County had 14 cases of hepatitis B and 66 cases of hepatitis C. This year, these are the numbers that I'm giving you is just a snapshot. We don't know they're acute or chronic. So acute means new diagnosis. most of these patients end up being chronic. Once you have the disease, I mean, treatment is pretty expensive. Many of our patients cannot afford the treatment. So the hope is we would prevent. Based on the estimate from Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, given the population of Berrien County, they estimate that we would probably have about 572 people with hepatitis C in this county. And this year, just in this week, we had a new case of hepatitis C diagnosed or reported to public health. So this year we already have reports of 3 cases of hepatitis C in Berrien County. These are new cases of diagnosis, and their symptoms meet the definition for acute
They
hepatitis.
can be transmitted other than needles, right?
Correct. The main
water,
mode, yeah. So the main mode of transmission, especially for hepatitis C, is injection drug use. Injection drug use.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to know.
Have you showed a percentage of decrease or not as much increase in the counties that adopted this program? In hepatitis, is the increase smaller
If it carries.
after a year or two? I mean, like if you were going 10%, are you going 6 or 7% the following year?
I don't think we yet have the numbers for to see the trend in decrease yet, because the programs have been in place for a year and a half. So it's pretty early on to say that we are seeing a decreased trend. We hope for it. Several of these people have been engaged for testing for hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and HIV. So the hope is once they know the status, if they are not positive, they at least know that they need to be careful further moving on. If they are positive, at least they'll tend to, withdraw from sharing, and hopefully they'll not spread the disease. Any other questions? Or
I do want to add one thing that last year when we were first brought up the needle exchange for Berrien County, we did do almost a needs assessment, and we did that with the jail inmates. Matt Butter was very welcoming to let us go into the jail, give out papers to the inmates and ask them, this is the needle exchange, this is what it's going to offer, it's going to be anonymous. Would you use this service if you are an injecting drug user and this service was offered to you? Would you use this? And the inmates were very supportive, and they said that they would use this service here in Berrien County. So I think that makes a big statement that the people that are injecting drug users that were in jail at that time said this would be something that they would use.
Any other questions or discussion? Comments? I just want to pose the questions of the court. Do you all feel like that you have enough information to make a sound decision on this? That's what I want to know.
Judge, I've like Squire Dixon and I have received some calls. All my calls have been negative, that they didn't support this, and I have mixed feelings about it too. Maybe I'm not educated enough on it, but I do have some mixed feelings about it.
Judge, I've had enough information, and it's time Berrien County started addressing this problem. It's something that we've had. It seems like it's ballooned in the past few years, not necessarily just intravenous drug use, but drug use in general. And it's time we started addressing that. It's time to start looking into it. So I've had plenty of, more than enough information.
Well, I just want to make sure that when we vote, that each one of you are voting not just to go along with the majority, or that you have a good understanding of it. And yes, sir, Master Dickerson, I agree with you. This is an issue, and the way I look at it, we have tackled issues head on. We haven't hid from issues, and this is just it is a problem. So, does it go back? Everything I think about when it comes to this specific subject goes back to public safety. That's one of the biggest is keeping our people safe. And that's those of you that were not here, and I don't want to speak for them, but I'm going to tell you the comment. But the jail crew, their inmates, or their crew that goes out and picks up garbage, so they pick them up along the side of the road, dirty needles all the time. I wouldn't want kids to grab a hold of these needles, be injured or dangered by one of them. I just main thing is just make sure you all are educated enough to make a firm decision on this. Any more questions or discussion?
Judge, because what I just said and everything, because of that, I will abstain my vote, neither for nor against.
Judge, I have received many comments from people who are concerned about this, and most of them are negative on it, that they don't want to. They feel like that we're encouraging the use of drugs. And I don't know how you change that view, but I'll have to vote no. Even though I see a definite need to educate people, that was my field as a teacher, to educate. But I just can't bring myself to vote yes.
Most of the comments that I've had are negative. And perhaps it's because of misunderstanding.
Could be.
But, you know, I read a thing in the paper that there wasn't any cost associated with this directly, but indirectly. What would the cost be? Does anybody know?
The cost of one syringe is like 97 cents, and an average user, we know that they probably use about 1,000 needles, so you're looking at around $1,000 per person. But the cost-benefit analysis, if you have one case of HIV, treating a case of HIV could cost around $600,000. So it's the cost-benefit analysis shows it's proven to be effective to use the needle exchange program.
But could any of that indirectly come back to the county?
Well, if you think if a citizen improves his health and his behavior, makes a better citizen of himself, I think it comes back to the county, I think. Again, I don't have any of those numbers or figures to substantiate that, sir.
Correct me if I'm wrong, this has to go before two government bodies, correct?
Correct. It has to go through the County Board of Health, the Physical Court, and the city in which it will be implemented. Yes, sir.
And I watched the city council meeting last evening, and you know, they tabled this and they put it before their safety committee due to the lack of education. You know, I hate to. It seems like we're always the one that has to reach out to the government body to work together. I'm not sure why they didn't reach out to us, but since it was brought before us first. But Master Benefield, this is your motion, and I don't want to shoot your motion down at all. But would there be a possibility for your committee to work with the safety committee of the city council? That way, as a community, we're making the right decision, and we're not voting one way and they vote the other.
I see what you're saying, but you know, I think we need to make a decision on this today. They've been to a court meeting already once. We've had an administrative committee, and then now we're voting and talking about it again for the third time. So the motion's on the table, and I'd like to keep it there.
Okay. Any more questions or discussion?
Yeah, Judge.
Yes.
I know some of the fellas have a little problem with this, and I can understand that. But I took this Sunday in my Sunday school class. I brought this up, and to the person, they said we needed to do that. Now, you know, the way I see things, if we go back, if we had all these people in church every Sunday, we may not have the problem to start with. But we don't. It's the season to help our fellow man, and that's what we're doing. We're helping our fellow man try to get off, try to do something positive with their lives by this, is the way I see it. And I wish you know, if it works out, we'll call the health department back up here. If it doesn't work out, we can always rescind it. But man, let's give these people a shot. Let's see if we can have one. If one person gets off drugs because of this program, it's worth every bit of it. One person, it's worth it all. So I just don't see other people getting. I just don't see it causing other people to turn to drugs because they're not going to be able to get the needles. They'll have to buy a needle somewhere else unless they have a dirty one to exchange for it. So I just don't see where it's a real bad thing. I think it's a good thing. So anyway, that's all I'm going to say about it.
Any more questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
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 Roll call, please.
Trent Riddle.
No.
Carl Dickerson.
Yes.
Jack London.
No.
Gary Gillen.
Abstain.
Charles Allen.
No.
Billy Houchins.
Yes.
John Benningfield.
Yes.
Judge Hale.
Yes.
Pass.
Passes. Okay. Thank you for being here. Transportation Committee.
Transportation Committee met this morning, and we've got two items of business. One is the follow-up of the Windermere Bridge. I think the way we left it at the last meeting, the court gave the Transportation Committee permission to get some bids to do the testing of the concrete substructure of the Windermere Bridge, because it's in, you know, we feel like that, I think the visual observation tells us that we can leave it. The substructure, which is the center pier and the two bridge abutments. But just to make sure of that, we want to get some testing on that, and I have contacted American Engineers, and they have two representatives here today, Richard Tutt and Jim McGillen. And so they've given us a price to do the testing. I think everybody, Susan handed this out to everybody. It's not the whole contract, it's just the summary, the last page. And for the field services, item number one, the core drilling and bridge pier, what they're going to do is they'll take 3 core samples, and they will go out there and physically remove 3 core samples, take them back to the laboratory, and they'll test them. And if they're holding up well and there's not a nothing, you know, if they crush good and everything looks good, we could possibly be able to leave that substructure in there. If not, they'll make a recommendation one way or the other as to whether or not we can leave it or whether they think it needs to come out. Is that correct? So that part of this bid is $1,500 for the testing. It's an absolute no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. I think it's just insurance. The part 2 of this, item number 2, is the survey and structural design. What this does is they'll provide us a set of plans and specifications that we can give out to the contractors. It'll be a very detailed set of plans, specifications with scope of work. That item number 2 is $9,500. And then to provide us with the bid documents and the bid management, which means that they'll provide us with all the bid forms, all the documents, and then they will review the documents with us. We can set a date on and have a bid opening. They'll review the bid documents with us, make a recommendation on which contractor we should hire. That part is $755. And then if we need additional testing during construction, or we need some field observation done, say if we're not comfortable with something, or we just want them guys to go out and check on our contractors, we're looking at somewhere around $250 per trip based on kind of what they do. It could be a little more, it could be a little less. If they do some concrete samples during placement, it could possibly be a little more. If they have to write up quite a bit of information, it could be a little less. So the total bid package, we can do it 2 different ways. We can vote to accept the $1,500 for the core samples, or we can vote to accept the lump sum of $11,750 for the complete package. And that would be my motion, if I could get a second on it.
I'll second.
Okay. The motion is for the complete package for $11,750. $750. We have a second from Ashley Benningfield. Any questions or discussion on this? I'm going to refer back to the minutes of November the 21st. We took action to contract with an engineering firm consultant to perform stress tests on this project. So specifically, it was a stress test. Now these tests are different, so it does require us to take additional action. Any questions or discussion on this?
I think the stress test is included in the whole package. You know, we can vote on just the stress testing for $1,500 if you want to do that, and then we can vote on the rest of it for the balance, or we can do it all in one shot here.
Well, we've already voted for the stress test anyway, so. Any more questions or discussion?
So as soon as this work's done, this will let for bid, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
And they'll help us through the bid process.
Okay. And this will determine how far we're going to go. I mean, if
What
the
exactly
structural
we have.
designs look
Yeah.
good, and y'all are going to come up with we need to replace the deck, or we need to replace this,
Right.
or we need to replace that. American Engineer's going to do that for us.
That's right.
Recommendations.
And then they will also put together a specific scope, detailed scope, so the bidders will be bidding apples to apples
Yeah.
this time.
I can give a little background on that if I need to.
You want to come up, Rich?
What we have, when Trent contacted us about this, the bridge at Windermere has a sufficiency rating of 37.5. Basically, the state bridge inspector came out along with the district bridge inspector in Bowling Green and assessed the bridge, which they do for all bridges in the state. Gave it a sufficient, I believe that was done in this spring, and the sufficiency rating was 37.5. They look at substructure, what we call substructure, the abutments and end walls and piers, and the superstructure, which is the deck. They assessed that and gave it a low rating. Anything under 50 nationwide, if you paid attention to the news with bridges and infrastructure stuff, anything under 50, the federal government and typically the states recommend you need to consider replacement. What we're trying to do here with the coring, the first phase of that, is take cores out of the concrete elements, which is extremely expensive. If we just went out and said, let's just replace the bridge, we could be incurring a lot of added cost on the construction that we don't need to do. If the concrete's in good shape and the pier's in good shape, then really all we're going to do is replace the deck at a much lower cost than replacing the whole structure. So that's kind of our approach. The cores are small 2-inch cores that we'll take in those three elements, compressive stress test those at our lab, and if they break good, what we call break good, then we'll recommend to the highway department that those elements be left in place and that we just replace the deck. And that's kind of our goal with that first part of it. The second part of that, the design fee, is based on that information. We come up with a design plan. We go out and survey the bridge and items around it that we need for construction plans. And then we develop formal, biddable construction plans with all the details that are required typically by the DOT and anyone that's a competent bridge contractor. And then we would assist the county in putting the advertisement out, answering requests for information from a contractor about what's going on with this work, holding a pre-bid meeting, and then pre-construction meetings, things of that nature. So it's a cradle-to-grave proposal that we're making. The only thing that's a little bit outside of the lump sum amount, as Trent explained, was testing. We would, quite honestly, it's a small job. We would pop over there anyway to see how construction is going, and I don't even think that no more work than would be involved that we would I would invoice you for that work, quite honestly, unless something happened that is a little bit out of the norm of our expectation. But if there's no concrete work to be done, and we're just setting substructure and maybe paving the top deck and doing a little work around it with some grading, that amount would be minimal, and I would just absorb that work. So.
And I guess that's where my next question was going. I've got a $250 per trip.
Right.
I was going to try to get it all done in one trip if you could.
Well, this should be a quick what we would do in our bid documents is impress upon the contractor that this is not a delayed operation, that they need, even though it would be part with construction, they would need to get in there quick and get, because it's only way in and out for those people back there. So it would have a short trigger. They would have to schedule it at a time that's conducive to the residents back there as best we could. So we would have some constraints on the contractor. So we would basically be forced to not have a lot of trips out there. This would not be a project that gets drug out for a while.
Okay. Any more questions for Richard? Richard, thank you for explaining all that. Appreciate that.
Okay,
Appreciate
thank
y'all
you.
being here. Okay, any more questions? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Let's build a bridge. Okay, Master Riddle.
Thank you guys for coming, and y'all can stay or you can go. We'll be in touch with you, and the judge's office of staff will be in touch with you. And there's a couple of things that we do have to take in consideration, and Jim and I talked about those this morning. One is we got to keep half of that bridge open during the process. The other is we have to have a alternate bid for placement of stone veneer, the manufactured stone veneer, which we will forward to the residents of Windermere, and they'll make a decision as to whether or not they want to pay for that.
And the lighting?
And the lighting. What we're going to do there, Richard, is what we'll need to do from the county standpoint is we're going to need to incorporate some type of fixture, which would probably just be a piece of pipe or something that they're going to put a solar light into. So we just need to coordinate with the contractors. They'll have to pick out the solar light, and then we'll have to come up with a mounting device that's going to set on the corners of each bridge, and we'll have to coordinate that with the contractor.
Okay, let's move on with our next item of business here. That's
Okay.
all in the scope of work, and not trying to shut you down.
We'll let you. We'll get in touch with you guys just as soon as we can.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
The next item of business would be we've got some miscellaneous. We've got some miscellaneous items out there at the road barn, and I went out this morning, met with Jeremy, and looked at them. And he's got these items palleted up, and it's surplus tools and hoses and pumps and 25 or 30 years of stuff that we don't need. Some of it's probably works pretty good for a farmer. Some of it don't work at all and it's in need of repair. But he's got it split onto 4 pallets, and we want to offer this this surplus tools and equipment for sale by way of sealed bids at the same time that we sell the 2 tractors by way of sealed bids. So I'd like to make a motion that we offer, or that we're able to offer this this equipment for sale.
Okay, we got a motion.
Second.
Got a second, Master Dickerson. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed. Thank you very much, Master Riddle. Department reports, emergency management.
Morning, Judge, members of the court. I've come to you this morning with a few items. The first one on the agenda is the affiliation agreement. If y'all recollect, we done one back in July to bring us up to the first of the year. This here's the agreement we have with the Department of Health in order to use the Medical Reserve Corps and the CERT team throughout the county. It's an affiliation we make with them, and that way they're available to help us during disasters as such. All I ask is y'all to have a motion and a vote on it to allow me and Judge Hale to sign the affiliation agreement representing the county.
So moved.
Master London, second Master Allen. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed.
Second item on the agenda I'd like to discuss is the addition of a new or an extra volunteer deputy. This person's been a real asset to emergency management. He's helped us out on many different occasions and stuff. This here will allow us, at no extra cost to the county, but it will allow us to be able to use him, utilize him with more authority and stuff. The person I'm referring to is Charles Kearney. He's been a great asset to us, and I would like permission from the court for the judge to be able to swear in Charles Kearney as the Deputy Emergency Management Director. It will be known as BC6.
So moved. Second.
Master Couch and second Master Allen. Any questions or discussion?
Just one question. These people that are volunteers, do they get paid for the training they take? I mean, if there's a cost for the training, does the county reimburse?
Majority of the required training that is required is free to take, and they can take it also online. But yes,
Okay.
if there was required training that we required them to take that was a cost, we would cover it, but right now there is none. Emergency management covers the cost of that training.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any more questions or discussion?
If Charles has been helping already,
Yes, sir.
so why is there a need to make this move?
Because when we're on the scene of, let's say for instance, a plane crash that's involving other federal agencies, or we're on the scene of other incidents that may be happening, it's more beneficial to the county, and it's better to have a emergency management member on the scene than Parks and Rec, because he is actually there representing EEM, even though he does not work for him at the time.
You know, I wish County Attorney Sharp would clarify something for me, not necessarily about Charles, but can you be paid twice by the county for two different jobs? Yeah, or County Attorney Sharp? I know you can't be an elected official and take a job at the county. I know that's true.
There
Just
is
wondered
a
if you could-
statute about inconsistent offices, and there's hundreds of rulings on that, and it's clear as mud as to which offices are incompatible. I couldn't give you a definitive answer whether those offices would be incompatible or not.
It's not true. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Isn't John Stevens, he's the solid waste coordinator?
He is.
He gets that salary, and then doesn't he get?
And we looked up that KRS when we were sworn in, me and John Stevens sworn in as special deputies. They're not incompatible. Nothing Charles Kearney does is incompatible with us. What would be incompatible if he was, for instance, a county attorney and he wanted to be emergency management director? You cannot do both.
So even, and this is just my personal information, if I could not take another job as a county employee, is that correct, as an elected official? Isn't that correct?
That's
right. According to the county attorney, yes.
Okay, all right. Answer my question.
Will Charles be carrying a gun?
No. Not under my authority.
No bullets.
Clarify
One
that.
bullet.
Not on the county, right?
It's a blind.
Any more questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed.
Thank you. And also, I also want to discuss the meeting we had. We had a meeting with the judge, Squire Houchins, all the emergency management staff. We discussed a couple of things that we're going to be doing toward in emergency management. You're going to see in the next coming year. One of them is public education. We're going to try to get out to the public more to educate them on what to do during disasters, anything from a small disaster. We want to assist the local agencies out there, the fire departments, ambulance service, 911, sheriff's department, everyone else out there. We want to get out there and do some public education with the personnel, what to do during a disaster, what to do during a winter storm. So you should see more definitely on social media and other types of media out there. Plus we'll be doing booths and trying to go out and talk to different groups and stuff about doing education with the public. That's one thing that we want to try to really push. And another thing is, as the judge touched on, with the enhancing of the safety equipment stuff, we touched on as far as emergency management, we'll be acquiring safety equipment, hard hats, glasses and stuff from when we're on the scene that requires it. If we're on the scene with the road department and they're wearing hard hats and safety glasses, that way we want to be when in Rome, dressed as the Romans. So we want to make sure that we acquire equipment in order to protect our personnel as well. Other than that, I thank y'all very much. Y'all have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Parks and Recreation.
Good morning, guys. I do want to say that I appreciate Tracy and all that he does for this county, and I appreciate being a part of that now, and being actually a part of it. I take pleasure in helping anybody in the county, any department. I think that's part of what this administration and the one before worked with too, is we're here to help each other. And and that makes it a better place to work. So, not just that, when any department needs me, I'm there for you to help. So, on that note, I'm here for Parks and Recreation now. I'm gonna put that hat on. We've been under construction out there as far as redoing some of the fields with new dirt, laser grading, getting them perfect where there's not holding water on the back. If you remember a couple years ago, we finished the fields up by building 2 new fields in the back. We didn't really do the correct thing with laser grading back there. We thought we had it on, we had it at 1%, which it really needed to be more. And the drainage wasn't exactly right. So I came in, the sports league was good enough before they disintegrated or went apart. They paid for the laser grading of the fields out there. So we purchased the dirt, which comes out of Alabama. It's called Alabama Red. And we had a company come in and they laser graded it and applied the dirt to the field. So those back 2 are now, with the recent rains we have, it was good to go back there and see that there was no water standing. We also have tarp, so it shouldn't be any problem with any water anymore back there on those back. That being said, the 2 front fields are now due to have this done to them. And one of the fields I'm going to remove the grass on the infield and put new dirt on it to make it accessible for all kids as far as softball, baseball, any base patterns that they want to have or any pitching length. The cost for that is the laser grading and the dirt all is $14,000. I do have that in my budget. I'm going to ask for a PO for that to go ahead and get this project underway, get my dirt here, and get it done before the season starts in the spring.
I'll make that motion. We accept.
Second.
Master Riddle, second Master Allen. Any questions or discussion?
Charles, you say you're going to remove the dirt on one of the front fields?
The grass.
I mean the
grass infield. Basically, let me give you a little background on the grass infield. When the park was built, the baseball park, they built a baseball field, a large one. It's 315-foot fence, and put a grass infield in. Basically, that field sits dormant, no play, except for middle school and some Babe Ruth league. During the year, we might have 30 games at the max. The other fields are averaging about 120 to 150 games. So we're actually losing out and not gaining other, like we could have more tournaments comes in, it wants 4 fields instead of 3. 3 fields is what's handicapped me on getting those nicer tournaments. So we don't have to depend on, I'm going to go ahead and say, we don't have to depend on the city's fields to have these big tournaments come in, and we can do it more on our own. If I take the grass up, it makes it interchangeable. They can still play baseball on it. There's no rules against that. It's just they can also play softball on it. It'll be all dirt. We can play 60-foot bases, 70-foot bases, 90-foot bases. We can pitch from any distance. But it doesn't change other than that and any of the fields being used. It doesn't change. They can still use them if they want.
What about a pitcher's mound?
That would be a portable. And that's allowable too. There's no rule against that. That's currently what we use for the other fields is portables.
Okay.
Any more questions or discussion? Just for FYI, putting these fields where they need to be, we are actively seeking state tournaments as we speak, and the better our facility is, the more chance that we have to get bigger tournaments. So I definitely support and encourage this. So hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, finish up old business. Ordinance 606 related to the budget amendment 4. I'm going to open this up for a public hearing for comment. I'll close the public hearing and adopt on second reading.
Motion.
Motion by Master Dickerson.
Second.
Second, Magistrate Allen. Any questions, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. New business, approved payment of claims as presented.
Motion.
So moved.
We have a motion by Master Riddle, second Master Allen. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Approved transfer of funds.
So moved.
Master Houchins.
Second.
Second Master Gillen. Any questions, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Approved budget adjustment.
Make that motion.
Master Gillen.
Second.
Second by Master Houchins. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Approved monthly financial statement, November 2017, subject to audit. Motion, Master London.
Second.
Second, Master Houchins. Any questions, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Approved official settlement, November 2017, subject to audit. The county attorney, the county clerk, and the sheriff.
So moved.
Master Gillen.
Second.
Second, Master Allen. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Personnel actions, you have them there in front of you. Entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Master Benningfield.
Second.
Master Riddle. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Approve annual order setting maximum amount for deputies and assistants and the county clerk and the sheriff.
Motion.
Master
Dickerson.
Dickerson.
Second.
Second, Master Riddle. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Okay, I have some appointments to some boards. First up being the ambulance taxing district. I want to appoint James Eisenberg to a term of January 17th, 2018 to January 17th, 2020. And he will be taking the place of Vivian Franklin. Also, the County Health Department, I want to reappoint Lou Twyman for a 2-year appointment starting January 1, 2018 to December 31st, 2019. Also, the Highsville Cemetery Board, these are 3-year appointments. Sandy Ross and Dee Dee London from January 1st, 2018 to January 1st, 2021. And I will entertain a motion for those assignments.
So moved.
Master London, second by Master Allen. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Ordinance 607 related to the Budget Amendment 5. This will be the first reading, and I will entertain a motion.
Motion.
Master Riddle,
Second.
second by Master Allen. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. This is 608. Okay. Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, I'm going to declare an emergency due to the end of the year financial reporting and adopt on second reading. I need a motion.
Make a motion.
Master Dickerson.
Second.
Second, Master Houchins. Any questions, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Ordinance 608 related to the amendment to ambulance taxing district ordinance bonding requirements.
Make that motion.
Master Dickerson.
Second.
Second by Master Gillen. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. I'm going to declare an emergency due to immediate need of bonding and adopt on second reading.
Motion.
Master Dickerson.
Second.
Second by Master Allen. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
Master Benningfield, second Master Allen. You are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Kind of early. Last meeting of the year.
He's already counting.
Probably.
We're gonna have at least one special
Got
meeting.
there, Charles.
With ordinances and amendments.
Hey, kids, you know, all right? I'm not.